Welcome to Practical Research Drives Profitable Decisions, brought to you by Becks Hybrids. I'm Mike Adams. There are 4 major nutrients needed to grow corn or soybeans: nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and sulfur. Yes, sulfur can be the limiting factor on yield and soil structure, according to Steve Gauck, an agronomist with Becks Hybrids based in southern Indiana.
We see a lot of sulfur deficiency, especially in corn, early in the spring during kernel set, kind of the yellow and striping in corn, as those roots are trying to reach out and find as much sulfur in the soils as we can. We can mineralize sulfur from the soil, so it's plant available. So at times, sulfur does become a yield-limiting factor.
Sulfur deficiency has been identified since coal-fired power plants removed sulfur before it reached the atmosphere. But higher yields pull a lot more of it from the atmosphere and soil.
And as we've cleaned that up and we've increased yields in our crop ground, we're starting to see situations where our soils are becoming deficient because we're not getting free sulfur from the atmosphere.
Beck's research shows soybeans at peak growth, R3, will use about 0.3 of a pound of sulfur per day. So an acre of 60 bushel soybeans needs 11 pounds to meet that goal. As legumes, soybeans link sulfur to nitrogen.
And sulfur is extremely important in helping soybeans nodulate. So nodulation creates nitrogen for those soybeans. So sulfur is a key factor in doing that. So to increase yields in soybeans, as we've been doing, we need to increase nitrogen. And to do that, we need sulfur in the soil or sulfur applied to those fields.
Gauck says sulfur is available from several sources, but it's not cheap.
Well, there's a lot of sources available for sulfur. Finding the cost-effective ones has been a challenge. We obviously have AMS as a dry that's very popular, easy to find, and can be broadcast in front of a corn crop or a soybean crop, and has worked very well. There's also some liquid forms, possibly using as a herbicide carrier. Gypsum is also a source of sulfur. So we have a lot of sources out there. A lot of it depends on what's available in your area and what's the most cost-effective source that you can use on your fields to increase yields.
Steve says check strips with or without sulfur can confirm how much it boosts plants in your fields.
My advice to guys is put a few rounds of just some sulfur out to see what kind of response you have. Or if you're in a scenario that you want to use sulfur across the field, skip a couple passes and flag it, keep an eye on it. A lot of times we can even see some visual difference.
He recommends including sulfur in your soil tests and start a history of sulfur levels. Also, tissue testing can confirm its benefit to your crop. He also commented on Beck's commitment to helping farmers do a better job, illustrating that practical research is nothing new for them.
For me, that's one of the exciting things that Becks does. Back in 1964, we started what we called practical farm research, where we started looking into what practices can we do on the farm that are simple, practical, that can increase yield. Our goal is as Becks, is to help farmers succeed. And we feel like this is an important way that we can do that by looking into research. It helps us know what hybrids and varieties we have react to different management practices, and therefore those help make our customers more successful. And love to share that data with our farmers and customers.
This monthly update on practical farm research and agronomy has been brought to you by Becks Hybrids. You may subscribe to this podcast by following the prompts on this website. Thanks for listening.